But I'd like to say good afternoon to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, physical and spiritual. And again, I'm blessed to stand before you.
Good afternoon, brother.
And today, we're going to deal with something that I guess everything has to be dealt with. This is something that I didn't think had to be dealt with, but it does, because we have a lot of people thinking that we are supposed to operate like we're under the Levitical priesthood. They're thinking that that is the priesthood that the Lord ordained us to. But we are not all Levites. But we are a kingdom of priests, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is this priesthood that we are ordained to? Ordained means appointed to, a job given to you. You have a set purpose. We are ordained to a priesthood. But what priesthood is it? See, because the whole Hebrew Israelite world, they thinking that we under the Levitical priesthood, and they trying to operate like that. That's why they're wearing fringes. That's why some want to kill a lamb on the Passover, because they still trying to operate under Levi. But that's not the priesthood that the Lord ordained this nation to. So we're going to look at it. So the title of today's lesson is the Priesthood of Melchizedek. Again, it's the Priesthood of Melchizedek. Now, you know, we do lessons on the priesthood all the time, but it seems that it don't sink in, because even some people around here thinking that we're dealing with Levi. They come with, you know, because Levi ain't around, you don't got to pay tithes. But that's not the priesthood that you are ordained to. But you're still ordained to receive tithes. It's just that as a nation, we're supposed to receive tithes from the whole world, because we're supposed to be priests to the whole world. But we're going to get into it. First, we're going to deal with Melchizedek. Here, let's go into Genesis, the 14th chapter. We're going to start reading at verse 1. And hopefully this brother been doing some reading at home, because he cool. I know he's straight. He done read so much it ain't no thing to him. These hard names and stuff. Genesis 14, verse 1. What'd he say?
And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemeber, king of Zeboim.
So now everybody heard of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So this is long time ago, because you can't even find where they used to be at. Long time. The Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and everything that was around it. But go ahead, brother.
And the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the salt sea. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, in the 13th year they rebelled. So now this Chedorlaomer, he controlled that whole region. So in the 13th year they rebelled against him. So when there's a rebellion, then war break out. Go ahead, brother. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims and Ashtaroth, Kernaim, and in the Zuzims and Ham, and the Emims and Shever, Karathaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto Elaparan, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to Enmishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites.
Go ahead.
And also the Amorites that dwelt in the Hazan Tamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim.
Go ahead, brother.
With Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5.
So now these 9 armies warred against one another. So this is kind of like a lightweight world war, because at that time the world wasn't so big. But go ahead, brother.
And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way.
So now they prevailed against Sodom and Gomorrah, and they took everything they had. They even took the people. Go ahead.
And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed.
Go ahead.
And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew.
This Abram, the Hebrew. This is before his name was changed to Abraham. So they came and they told him, hey, look, they done took your nephew, man. Go ahead.
For he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
So now this Abram, the Lord was with him. He took 318 people, including himself, that's 319, and he went to war with these armies. Go ahead and read.
And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus.
Go ahead.
And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
So now he did something that Sodom and Gomorrah and their confederates couldn't do. He defeated them armies, and he brought back the goods and the people and all the goods. Because this is a man of God here. Go ahead.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him.
So it said the slaughter, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's how they was able to bring everything back. They slaughtered those guys. They destroyed those armies. You didn't hear about those armies again after this. Go ahead, brother. What's the verse?
The middle of the end of 17.
Come on.
At the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God.
So now this is the first time the priest of the Most High God was mentioned. This Melchizedek, he brought forth bread and wine, because those are the tools of his priesthood. So in the original this priesthood, there was nothing that could die, because it was just God and the angels. But now in man's creation, there's something that could die since Adam and Eve sinned. See? But go ahead, brother.
Verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all.
So Abraham gave Melchizedek tithes of all. And people like to say, well, that don't mean we still supposed to pay tithes. But you're not realizing that this priesthood didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere. Did you finish that, brother?
Yeah, that was it.
But so first we're going to pursue this Melchizedek. Let's go into Hebrews, the 7th chapter. Hebrews chapter 7, we're going to pick it up at verse 1. All right, brother, go ahead and read.
For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abram returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him, to whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness.
So now this Melchizedek, he's king of righteousness. What else is he? Go ahead.
And after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace.
Because Salem means peace. So he is the king of righteousness and the king of peace. Now, if somebody the king of righteousness, it couldn't be a man, now could it? If he is the king of righteousness and the king of peace, already you know he couldn't be a man. Already. But go ahead, give me the verse, brother.
Verse 3. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life.
So if he don't have no beginning of days, nor does he have an end of life, and he the king of righteousness and the king of peace, this is not a man. It couldn't be. Go ahead, brother.
But made like unto the Son of God, abideth a priest continually.
So if he abide continually, that means that his priesthood can't be taken away from him. He abideth a priest continually. He's not going to die out of office. So he can't be replaced. Like unto the Son of God, he abideth continually. The Son of God abideth continually. Melchizedek abide continually. You finished with verse 6?
No, that was verse 3. We have verse 4.
Go ahead.
Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the 10th of the spoils. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law.
It's according to the law. So it's the law that you pay tithes. Even Cain and Abel knew that. They brought offerings to the Lord. They brought tithes because he was always Melchizedek. Go ahead.
That is of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham.
Go ahead.
But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham and blessed him that had the promises.
Go ahead.
That was 6 right there.
Oh, that was 6? So we see that Abraham paid tithes to this Melchizedek. See, and there wasn't no Levitical priesthood around this time, but tithes was being paid. But this lesson is not on tithes, though. Let's continue to pursue this Melchizedek. Let's go into the 5th chapter of Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 5. We're going to start reading at verse 1. Hebrews 5 and verse 1. Go ahead.
For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men in things pertaining to God.
So now, this talking about the Levitical priesthood said they are ordained for men for things pertaining to God, because there has to be somebody that stands in the gap between God and man. And it's the priest's job to do it. Go ahead and read, brother.
That he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins.
So these offerings are for sin because the law of God has been broken. Go ahead.
Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way, for that he himself also is compassed with infirmity. And by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself to offer for sins.
Because he flesh and blood. So he got to offer for sin, not just for the people, but for himself as well. Come on.
And no man taketh this honor unto himself, but he that is called of God, as was Aaron.
Go ahead, brother.
So also Christ glorified not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee.
So see, Jesus didn't exalt himself. The Father exalted him. And he made a promise to him. We're going to read that later, but he made a promise to him. So Jesus didn't put himself in the office of the priesthood. He was ordained to be in that office. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. As he saith also in another place, Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
But we know this is an unchangeable priesthood, though. So we know Melchizedek can't be replaced because he has no beginning and no end. I mean, he has no end of days, no beginning of life. He was just always there. He is. Go ahead.
Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared.
Go ahead and read, brother.
Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered.
So now he learned obedience by the things which he suffered when he was here in the flesh. So he is a more perfect high priest. See? So even the Levitical priesthood, we're supposed to be able to understand when people come to us what their infirmities are. But I'm going to tell you, it's so hot up here, I'm going to have to turn this fan on. So what verse you at?
Verse 9.
Verse 9, go ahead.
And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. Called of God and high priest after the order of Melchizedek.
So he's called of God a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. This is Jesus we're talking about. Come on.
11. Of whom we have many things to say, and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing.
And this is the problem right now today, that as a people we are dull of hearing. We are hard of listening and dull of hearing. So that's why we have to do a lesson like this, because we dull of hearing. Instead of us doing our job as priests, we out there antagonizing the whole world because we're mad about what's happening to us. Forgetting about that we did it to ourselves. We shot ourselves in the foot, but we mad at everybody else. See, we the one hold the gun, and we the one pull the trigger. So when the bullet hits you, you mad at the bullet?
Keep it plain.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. For the time ye ought to be teachers.
So now read this slow, brother. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
For the time ye ought to be teachers.
Ye ought to be teachers. We ought to be teachers right now. Go ahead.
Ye have need that one teach you again.
This is the problem. You have need that one teach you again, but you ought to be teachers. Go ahead.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
And this is milk right here. We become such as that have need of milk. And we are supposed to be the ones with the meat. We are supposed to be the ones with the heavy food. We're not supposed to be dealing with milk with one another. We're supposed to be dealing with heavy food. We're supposed to take the milk to the other nations so we can wean them so they can grow up and deal with the meat. But now I got to do a lesson like this because you refuse to understand. So let's go into Psalms 110. Psalms 110. We're going to start reading at verse 1. Psalms 110 and verse 1. Go ahead and read.
The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Now they don't even understand this part. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. They're going to try to say that the Lord talking to David. David ain't sitting on the right hand of God. But the Lord, David's Lord, the Lord said unto David's Lord, sit thou at my right hand till I make that enemies that footstool. That's milk. But go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies.
So we know he's going to come out of Zion. He gonna return to Zion. He going to rule from Zion. All in that one verse right there. Come on.
Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth.
Because when they crucified him, he was only 33 and a half years old. So he got the dew of his youth. He going to look just like he did when he left here. Come on, brother.
The Lord hath sworn and will not repent.
Now this Lord, he have sworn and he will not turn from it. Come on.
Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
So the Lord said unto my Lord, thou art a priest, but he have sworn and will not repent that my Lord is a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So whether you believe that this is the Father or if you know the truth that this is the Son who became the Son, he is a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Couldn't be talking about David. Because we can read in Psalms, the 2nd chapter, say David, he dead and buried, and his grave is with us unto this day. So it ain't talking about David. You done with that?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So now let's go into Genesis, the 15th chapter. Because the Lord made you a part of a priesthood, and you need to understand how to operate in this priesthood. So what the Lord did was he gave you examples. He took you to school. He trained you in the operation of the priesthood before you take on that job. It's just like when you start a new job, right? They have an orientation day, right? Mm-hmm. And they tell you about the company, how they operate. They tell you their bylaws, and then they train you on how to do the job, right? Yes, but you're gonna walk into the priesthood of God, and you don't need to know nothing. That's the problem. You don't understand. Mm-hmm. He gave you this Levitical priesthood to teach you how to operate in his kingdom, how to operate in his ministry, how to operate in his priesthood. And he gave you the whole thing. I'm gonna show it to you. Gave you the whole thing. But before he did that, he had to bring you a certain way. So Genesis 15 and verse 1. Go ahead.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward.
So this is right after the Lord met him when he returned from the slaughter of the kings. So he said, look, fear not, I'm thy shield. That means I protect you, and I'm your exceeding great reward. That means that I am your future. I am what you're going to inherit. Go ahead, brother.
And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? Mm-hmm. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
So now Abram, he kind of worried. Now he said, look, you haven't given me any children, but you telling me that my seed gonna be all over the planet? Like, I don't understand. But go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
So you're gonna have a child, and that child gonna be your heir. Go ahead.
And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. Mm-hmm. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
Say, look, have anybody to this date numbered the stars?
No, sir.
They cannot be numbered. So he's telling Abraham, just like the stars cannot be numbered, your children won't be able to be numbered. It's just like in the early days when I was a kid, and they used to send the people out to take the census. It'd be 8 people in the house. We'll tell them they ain't nothing but 2 or 3. We ain't telling y'all nothing. But that was from the Lord, though. We didn't know, but it was from the Lord. You don't number Israel. In fact, you don't number really none of Abraham's children, because they can't be numbered. He got the Midianites, the Ishmaelites. I said the Ishmaelites. Mm-hmm. It's a whole bunch of them, though. Abraham got a bunch of kids. It wasn't just Ishmael and Isaac. Mm-mm. But he got grandkids. He has grandchildren and all that. So they can't be numbered. Anyway, what verse we at?
That was the end of verse 5.
End of verse 5. So we're gonna skip down to verse 12. Verse 12. Go ahead and read.
And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. Mm-hmm. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So now he told him, the Lord telling Abraham that your lineage gonna be in a strange land, and they're gonna serve a hard servitude for 400 years. So people thinking that's talking about America. You know how long we've been here in America? About 600 years. So what they talking about then? This say 400 years. We've been over here for about 600 years, probably longer than that. So anyway, you done with that? No, 14.
Go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, And afterward shall they come out with great substance.
So now they're going to come out with great substance because he is going to prepare them to do the job that he's ordained them to do. He's going to prepare these people. So let's go into Exodus, the first chapter, Exodus chapter 1. Pick it up at verse 1. Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. What'd he say?
Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher.
That's a whole lot of sons of Jacob, right? So all of them not Jews. These different sons, all of them not Judah, right? All of them not Levi, but you got these people that's pretending like they us. All they know about is Judah. And they not even a part of that. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 5. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls.
Wait a minute. The souls came out of the loins of Jacob?
Yes, sir.
How that happen if the soul is something that floats around and all that? Had an argument with a brother about that. Well, really, it wasn't no argument. I just simply gave him the definition of soul from the dictionary to blow up his conversation. Everybody know what it is. It's the body. So 70 souls, 70 people came out. Jacob, go ahead.
For Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty. And the land was filled with them.
So the land was filled with them. They ain't say how many of them it was, because the land was filled with them. It was like, overran with flies or something. Go ahead.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
So now, that wasn't a smart idea right there, but that was their idea. Wasn't too smart though. So they want to get Israel about the land. But how'd they proceed to do it? Go ahead and read.
11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
So this is how they gonna get them about the land. They're gonna work them to death. Kind of sound like this land over here, don't it? Anyway, go ahead.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
Because the hand of the Lord was on them. So the more they afflicted them, they didn't die. They just multiplied and grew. They weren't going to get rid of them that way. Go ahead.
And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
So this is a hard servitude. They made them to serve with rigor. See, because the land was overrun with them, and they was grieved. It's too many of these people. Sound like this land over here, don't it? But it's not. This is the land of Egypt. But it's just, the Lord told Abraham, your children won't be able to be numbered. So wherever they are, they're going to overrun the land. Go ahead and finish that, brother.
Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. So the prophecy that the Lord gave Abraham came to pass. And they was over there for 430 years, but they served with rigor for 400 of those years. So the Lord said, it's time to bring them out. So he told Moses, y'all know the story of Moses. We're not going to go off into all that. But he sent Moses back to Egypt to bring the people out. So Pharaoh didn't want to let the people go. So the Lord said, I'm going to get me some honor up on Pharaoh. So he put all kind of plagues on Egypt. We ain't going to go through all of them, but we just going to deal with the last one.
So let's go into Exodus. Exodus chapter 11. Exodus chapter 11. And we're going to start reading at verse 1. Okay, go ahead, brother.
And the Lord said unto Moses, yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards, he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether.
So he's going to throw y'all out after this, because I'm going to bring one plague more on him. He already brought the locusts and the flies and the frogs and the darkness and turned the water to blood and all those different things. But this is going to be the last one right here. He said after this, he going to throw y'all out. But go ahead, brother.
Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold.
You see what he told them? Borrow jewels of silver and jewels of gold, because the Lord is setting them up. He got a plan. See, the Lord don't do anything randomly. He got a plan for it all. Go ahead.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people.
Because by this time, the Lord by the hand of Moses had did so much to the whole land of Egypt that even the Egyptians was like, this Moses, he dealing with the true and living God. He got respect. Because when he moved his hand, trouble came. If Moses said trouble was coming, it came. So these Egyptians had respect for Moses and these Israelites. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 4. And Moses said, thus saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts.
So that the Lord didn't leave nothing out. He said even the firstborn of beasts, even of the servants, whoever it is, if they're in jail. So the firstborn of everybody and everything gonna die. That's a plague right there, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
And it's a particular plague, because he doing it this way to let you know that it's God that's doing it. That it ain't no random thing. This is God doing it, so the firstborn gonna die. Go ahead.
6. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it anymore. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
See, the Lord wants you to know how he sanctified his people. He said, where Israel at, he said the dog not going to wag his tongue, wag his tail. He ain't going to have no fear. Even the dog not going to get anxious. But over there where the Egyptians are, it's going to be a great cry. So he going to show how he separate his people from everybody else. How he separate his servants from everybody else. You finish that?
Verse 8.
Come on.
And all these thy servants shall come down unto me, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, get thee out, and all the people that follow thee. And after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger.
So now he said, look, all your people going to come down, and they're going to bow down to me, and they're going to say, look, get up out of here. So let's see what happened. Let's go into the 12th chapter. Pick it up at verse 29. 12 and 29. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt.
See, the Lord don't say nothing in vain.
No, sir.
He said when it came to pass that he smote all the firstborn in Egypt. Come on.
From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle.
So his word didn't return unto him vain.
No, sir.
It accomplished what he sent it out to do. This is how the Lord operates. He don't play games. Come on, brother.
30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt. For there was not a house where there was not one dead.
See, it was not a house in Egypt where there was not one dead. And even the firstborn of cattle, the firstborn of those that was in the dungeon, they was locked up, but they firstborn died. It was a great cry. This is what the Lord told Moses to tell Pharaoh. I'm going to hurt you, man. I'm going to hurt you because there's some things that you have done that I'm not going to let you get away with. I'm going to make you pay. I'm going to make you suffer.
He be playing.
Let's go.
31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds.
Take everything that belongs to you. Come on.
As ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also.
He said, look, and bless me also. See, because now, like he said, the Egyptians are going to come down and bow down before Moses. This is what they was doing. He said, look, and bless me also. Because now I understand who this God is. He's not like any of the gods of Egypt or of the Hittites or anybody else. This is the true God, the one God. So he said, bless me also. Continue to read, brother.
33. And the Egyptians were urging upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste.
So they thrust them out, like you said, right? Go ahead.
For they said, we be all dead men.
They get them all out of here before we all be dead. Come on.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
Go ahead.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required.
So whatever they required, they got it from. Like the Lord said, get jewels and gold and silver and all this stuff, because I got a job for you to do. I got something I want you to do. So he made it so the Egyptians was glad to give it up. Because, man, this ain't worth my life. Go on and take it. Go ahead.
And they spoiled the Egyptians.
It's like they robbed them, but they didn't. The Egyptians gave it all to them, right? But it was almost like robbery. They spoiled the Egyptians. Come on.
And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children.
It said 600,000 that was men, not including the children, but just the men. So it didn't include the women either. But just the men, 600,000. Go ahead.
38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
So a mixed multitude went up with them. So not only did they bow down before Moses, some of them left with Moses.
Yes, sir.
Some of them was Egyptians. Some of them probably was Gentiles or Hamites from other parts of the country, of the continent. You know, because at the time, people came down to Egypt so they could eat. That was the Mecca of the world at that time. So all kind of people was down there. And they said, we going with these people that's dealing with the true God. Because we ain't never seen no God do nothing like this. They was used to carrying their God around or having him sitting on a mantelpiece or something, you know, or going to cut him out the forest or something like that. But this God moved heaven and earth. We going with them. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 39. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual.
So now the bread hadn't risen yet because they was thrown out. So that's why it was unrisen, because they didn't have time to wait for it to rise. Even when I was a kid, they still had to wait for the stuff to rise. I ain't gonna get it. Never mind. Go ahead.
Now the sojourning, verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years.
So they was down there for 430 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt.
So the whole nation of Israel went out from the land of Egypt, say exactly 430 years later.
430 years later.
But for 400 of those years, they served with rigor.
Yes, sir.
But it was a reason for that. See, because the Lord, he give you a job to do, but you got to be in the right mindset to do the job. It's like when they wanted a king, it wasn't nobody really that had the right mindset to be a king. But he chose Saul. And we see where Saul went. But then the Lord, he looked at David's character, and David had the right mindset. So he had to get these people ready to have the right mindset. So now he brought them out of Egypt. Let's go into the 19th chapter. Exodus chapter 19. I'm doing this for a reason, see, because a lot of times we get off into stuff and people ain't really never read it before. Because you know, they figure that the only time they need to study is when they're in class or when it's a Sabbath, but you need to be doing this all the time. But 19, in verse, where we at? Verse 1. Verse 1, go ahead.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai.
So now they off in the wilderness, and this is 3 months after they came out of the land of Egypt. Go ahead.
And had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob.
So I want you to talk to these Jacobites, the house of Jacob. Go ahead.
And tell the children of Israel.
And tell the ones that have the right mind, I got a job for them to do. The children that belong to me. Go ahead.
Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself.
Now these are metaphors. See, it's a difference in a metaphor and what's real in this book. Because yeah, there are some metaphors in here, but all of it ain't metaphor. But he said, I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Because I did this with a mighty hand. I destroyed the country of Egypt to bring you out. In fact, I murked the Egyptians.
Man.
I drowned them in the Red Sea for you.
Keep it plain.
This is what I did. And I'm finna do some more for you. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed.
Now this is a contractual word. If you will obey my voice indeed, that means for real. Go ahead.
And keep my covenant.
And keep my covenant. These are contractual words. And keep my covenant. If you would do this, come on.
Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
Above all people, I will make you a peculiar treasure unto me. But so you have to do something first. You have to keep my covenant and obey my words.
Yes, sir.
That's what you have to do. Come on, brother.
For all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
Now, we supposed to be a kingdom of priests, right?
Yes, sir.
But did you not read how many people came out of Jacob? How many sons he had? And it said Joseph was in Egypt already, right?
Yes, sir.
That was 12 sons.
Yes, sir.
And out of those 12 sons came the nation of Israel, right?
Yes, sir.
And he said, you're going to be a kingdom of priests. The whole nation is not Levi.
Yes, sir.
But a kingdom of priests, come again.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation.
And a holy nation. These are still contractual words. And a holy nation. But if it's a holy nation, then why are we on corners cussing people out, talking about only Israel going to be saved? Why are we doing that? Seeing as a mixed multitude came out of Egypt with Israel.
Keep it plain, yo.
And he said we're going to be a kingdom of priests, and we're supposed to be a holy nation. A holy people. Holy people don't dance on poles in strip clubs. Holy people don't sell drugs to their own people. Holy people don't kill their brothers and sisters in the streets. Holy people don't do those kind of things. Holy people don't cuss women out, call them something worse than a female dog just because she is not the same color as they are. Holy people don't do that. We're supposed to be holy people. Go ahead, brother.
These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him.
So he didn't leave nothing out.
Oh,
he gave it to all the elders, and all the elders had to take it to the rest of the nation. Come on.
Verse 8. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord.
See what Moses did? Every time they told Moses something, he went back to the Lord and said, this is what they said, Lord. Because he the go-between. He the intercessor.
Yes,
he the one to stand in the gap. So that's his job. He talked to them. He talked to the Lord. He talked to the Lord. He talked to Israel.
Yes,
that was his job. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever.
So we're supposed to believe Moses forever, right? Say the Lord, say I come to you in a thick cloud. And while I'm talking to you, the people can hear me talking to you, Moses. They can hear the Lord talking to Moses. It wasn't no secret thing. Like some people try to have you believe. Some of those fake churches try to have you thinking that the Lord talked to Moses in secret, so then we really can't believe Moses. No, everybody heard the voice of God. It's just that he talked to Moses face to face.
Yes,
Come on.
And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes.
So that means they got to be sanctified. They got to be separated from all uncleanness. He said, let them wash their clothes.
Yes,
so they can't come as they are, right? They got to go and sanctify themselves, clean themselves up, even wash their clothes. And what else they got to do? You didn't get lost?
No.
It's going to be all right. Go ahead.
Sorry, bro. That was it. Sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes and be ready against the third day.
And they got to be ready. They got to be ready when that third day comes, because they're going to meet the Lord on that day. Go ahead and read.
For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves that ye go not up into the mountain or touch the border of it.
So he got instructions. He even said boundaries around the mountain, so the people they knew not to go and mess with the mountain. So he said, I want you to prepare yourself to come before me. Prepare yourself. Don't just come any kind of way like Cain did. It ended up being a liar and a murderer. Because if you come any kind of way to God, what are you? You ain't nothing different than what you was in the first place. He's not going to accept you. He told Cain, he said, look, check yourself, man. Check yourself, because I'm not going to accept anything. But the people that don't want to check themselves, they lies, murderers, adulterers, and whatever, thieves. But come on, brother.
Take heed to yourselves that ye go not up into the mountain or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mountain shall be surely put to death.
Go ahead and read.
There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man. It shall not live.
That's why they put I can't think of the word, but they put stuff around the mountain so even the animals couldn't get to it.
The barriers.
Barriers, that's the word I'm trying to think of. Barriers. They put up barriers, but go ahead.
When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mountain. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes.
So they had to get ready to meet the Lord. What verse was that?
That was the end of 14.
That was the end of 14? Okay. So now he brought them through Egypt to humble them, and then he brought them out. He said, now, y'all got to get ready, clean yourself up, get ready to meet me. So when the third day came, he came down on the mountain, right?
Yes, sir.
And the people was right there. So we go into chapter 20 and verse 1. Because see, in order to work at my company, in order to be employed by me, you got to come to this orientation. So now here's the orientation. And we're going to get to the training after this. So this is the orientation. Chapter 20 and verse 1. What'd he say?
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Don't mistake me for nobody else. I'm the one. Come on.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Say, look, I don't want you dealing with nothing or nobody beside me. Nothing else. Because I don't want you to be distracted, and I don't want to have to hurt you. I don't want to have to kill you. So don't deal with no other God. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
He said, I'm a jealous God. And those that hate me, I'm going to come and deal with them. Even to the third and fourth generation. Because just like I teach my children to serve God, and they're going to teach their children to serve God, the people that hate God, they're going to teach their children to hate God, and they're going to teach their children to hate God.
Keep it playing.
That's what's going on right now today. All these God haters. And we wonder, like, why is the world so far from God? Because there's so many God haters in the world. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
That's who he's going to show his mercy to, those that love him and keep his commandments. Not to those that get baptized and then don't keep his commandments. Because once you get baptized, you have agreed that you are going to keep his commandments. So he's going to show mercy to those that love him and keep his commandments. But the ones that don't keep his commandments, see, because y'all think this is some regular mercy. This ain't no regular mercy. This ain't the mercy he talking about that when he make it rain on your crops and on the crops of the evil people too. Not that mercy. He talking about the lake of fire right here. I will not put you in this lake of fire if you keep my commandments. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
So now when you come out that water, you better make sure you keep these commandments, because he would not hold you guiltless if you don't, because you have taken his name in vain. But we're going to skip down to verse 12. Verse 12, go ahead and read.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
That's the first commandment with promise. Honor thy father and thy mother. It don't matter how old you are. It don't matter how old they are or how young they are.
No, sir.
Honor your father and your mother. Even if your father abandoned you, you can't go and bust him upside the head and stuff like that when you see him on the street. And if you come and ask you for a morsel of bread, go on and give it to him.
Keep it playing.
But just because you're 75 years old and your father 100, don't mean you don't honor him. Because you're still his child. So however long it be, you still a child. As long as your parents living, you still a child. But read, my brother.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
That's even preparing you for something. That's preparing you for eternal life right there. But go ahead, brother.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
You can't lie on your neighbor or to your neighbor. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
You can't be lusting after what belongs to your neighbor. Go ahead.
Nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor.
So now he said, you are going to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, right?
Yes, sir.
So he giving you the instructions on how to be holy. Before he give you this job to do, he has to make sure you are able to do the job. He got to train you on doing this job. So this is the orientation for working for God. This is the orientation. These are the bylaws right here. Because he got a big job for you to do. And the reason why he brought you through Egypt the way he did in that hard bondage, because you need to be able to look at some other people suffering and understand it. Because you suffered. That's why we still suffer. And the more we suffer, the better we are as people, if we're paying attention. That was it?
That was it. That was 17.
So orientation is over with. Now, he's going to give you instructions on how to do the job. So, let's go into Exodus, the 25th chapter. Exodus 25. And verse 8. Okay, go ahead.
And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make it.
Say, look, I don't want you to make it anything different from what I showed you, because the Lord told Moses to build a tabernacle, and he said he gave him specific instructions on how to build it, each measurement of everything. And he said, don't make nothing different from what I showed you. Because we'll read somewhere else in the book and say it's a pattern of heavenly things. So he's showing Israel how his priesthood operates. So he said, that's why he said, don't make it no different. See, Israel didn't come with the Levitical priesthood on their own. The Lord gave it to them to teach them how to operate in the priesthood. So he said, don't make anything different than what I showed you. Because when the day come and you truly enter into that priesthood of Melchizedek, you have to already know how to do the job. Ain't no on-the-job training. There ain't no on-the-job training. The Lord training you right now. What verse?
We had verse 10.
Go ahead.
And they shall make an ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof.
Go ahead.
And a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold. Within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about.
So now he gave them a specific way to make this ark. And he said he go and put upon it a crown of gold round about it, because it represents the throne of God. And what's going to be in the ark is the covenant, the 10 commandments. That's the strength of God, his law. So he said, don't make it no different. You done with that?
Yeah, that was 11.
Okay, let's go into the 26th chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 31. But I'm going to ask y'all to read most of all this on your own to see how particular the Lord was about this stuff. Because it represents something. It represents the priesthood that was from the beginning, the original priesthood, and how it operates. So 26 and 31, what do you say?
And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twine, linen of cunning work, with cherubim shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood, overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony.
So now imagine this, the veil right here. He said bring in within the veil, that means on the other side of the veil, the ark of the testimony, because that's the most holy place behind there. We're not going to get off on all that today, because I just want to show you this priesthood, but some of the workers of the priesthood. So they're going to put the ark of the testimony, which is the throne of God, in the most holy place. Go ahead, brother.
And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy.
So it all represent the kingdom of God, but you got the holy place and you got the most holy place. Go ahead, what verse?
34. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side.
That was it? So he giving him still specific instructions on how to set this tabernacle up, because it is where Melchizedek resides. It's his temple. So he's telling Moses, make this exactly how I told you to make it, because when I come down here, it can't look no different than it looked like in heaven. Can't look no different. Even though it's a worldly sanctuary made with hands, it's not pure like the one in heaven, but I want to look at no different. So make it exactly like I tell you to make it. Let's go into 29. Because now that he gave them instructions on how to deal with the tabernacle, how to set it up. He going to give them some training on how to operate in the priest office. So Exodus the 29th chapter. And we're going to start reading at verse 1. 29 and 1, go ahead.
And this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them to hallow them.
So he told Moses to get Aaron and his sons and consecrate them. He said, but this is what you're going to do. Go ahead and read.
To minister unto me in the priest's office. Take 1 young bullock and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread and cakes and cakes unleavened, tempered with oil, and wafers unleavened, anointed with oil. So
now he's telling them how to do this and how to consecrate them. But skip down to verse 9 and go ahead.
And thou shalt gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put the bonnets on them, and the priest's office shall be theirs.
So now he said, look, I'm going to get a priest's office to Aaron and his sons, and they have particular clothes that they're going to wear. But he had already told Moses, have everybody that got some understanding to make these garments for them. Go ahead. That was verse 9?
We in the middle of it.
Oh, go ahead and finish.
And the priest's office shall be theirs for perpetual statute.
Say for a perpetual statute. That means continual. So even when the Lord come into his kingdom, he gonna bring them in to the inner workings of his priesthood. But we're gonna skip down again to verse 29. Go ahead and read it.
And the holy garments of Aaron shall be his sons after him.
So now, this is to simulate that the priest, the high priest, don't ever leave office. So then, it stays with Aaron and his sons, because a man don't live forever, right? But through his children, he still exists. So he said it's going to be for Aaron and his sons, the ones that come out of the loins of Aaron, to be a similitude of Melchizedek having no beginning of days, no end of life. See, this is some plain and simple stuff, right? This milk. This is a lesson that I really put together for the children's class. I just ain't been able to go in there and teach yet, because I've been out here all this time. So anyway, he said, look, this is going to be for Aaron and for his sons perpetually. Go ahead and finish it.
To be anointed therein, and to be consecrated in them. And that son that is priest in his stead shall put them on 7 days.
So he got to wear the same clothes. And he got to wear them for how long?
7 days.
7 days. Why is it 7 days?
7 days.
Because 7 days it completes something. 7 days, 7 represents completion. So for the whole time that we in this flesh and blood, we supposed to be a kingdom of priests for the whole time. That's why this bodies that we're dealing with now is so hard. Because we have failed to accomplish the duties that the Lord gave us to do. That's why this thing is so hard. That's why when you go to sleep at night, you can barely get to sleep because you're worried about 5 minutes from then. And when you wake up, you scan the room, try to see if everything okay before you move, right? Because your life is unsure to you. Because the Lord gave you a duty and you did not accomplish it. But for this whole 7,000 years, this your job. You done?
No, we in the middle. I'm going to start back at the top of 30. And that son that is priest in his stead shall put them on 7 days when he cometh into the tabernacle of the congregation to minister in the holy place.
So now he got to do it for seven whole days. So that means he got to always wear these garments, these priest garments, always, continually. Because when them 7 days up, what happened? Another 7 days start. So he got to wear them priest garments continually, right? But this just represents the high priest right here. This just represents the high priest. Let me show you what he wanted you to do when he brought you out of Egypt. In the 19th chapter of Exodus. Let's go into Numbers, the 3rd chapter. Numbers chapter 3. See, some people sitting there wondering, like, why is he doing a lesson like this? Because I was thinking that, you know, them other Jakes, I call them Jakes because they ain't spiritual at all. Them other Jakes don't understand this, but you know what? We need to understand this too. Mm-hmm.